Hello, everyone. I hope that you are having a good Friday and that it will lead into a wonderful Erev Shabbat and into a beautiful 25 hours of challah and relaxation as we enter the Torah portion of Ki Tavo. Ki Tavo, still in the book of Deuteronomy, still 37-day-long speech from Moses in the book of Deuteronomy. And it is a counter, if you will, to last week's Torah portion was Ki Tetzeh, when you go out. Ki Tavo is sort of when you enter. It speaks about the sort of ground rules when you enter the land. And there are a lot of really beautiful pieces here in the Torah portion that really talk about, particularly the opening that talks about first fruits and the first fruits that grow in the land and what you do with them. There are a couple of beautiful phrases that we use from lots of pieces of Jewish text. I actually want to talk about the Haftarah this week, and the Haftarah this week is a really special one. There have been now several Haftarot in a row on purpose. So this is the 6th of 7 Haftarot that have been happening since the 9th of Av. So if you remember, when we were in the month of Av, we are now in the month of Elul, getting closer and closer to the month of Tishrei, which is where the high holidays begin. So we're in Elul, but Av, the month prior, on the 9th, was, as we have talked before, sometimes known as the saddest day of the Jewish people. And it's when both temples fell. When the first temple falls in 586 and the second temple falls in 70. And so on the same day, on the 9th of Av. And so each week since then, 7 weeks in total, which will then take us directly into Rosh Hashanah. This is the 6th of the 7 Haftarot and they're known as Haftarot of consolation. It's a book. It comes from the book of Isaiah. This week comes from the book of Isaiah. Most of them are from Isaiah, but particularly this week is from the book of Isaiah in chapter 60, actually. And in his attempt of comforting the people, he actually brings about this beautiful concept of moving from darkness to light. Hence, this imagery that I chose for us on this Erev Shabbat is this almost a sunrise, because he connects the idea of the fall of the temple clearly to sheer darkness, that the Jewish people were in utter darkness, and then there's this light that's sort of shining through. And I kind of think that we're a little bit in that moment. We're coming up on close to a year of October 7th. I'd say it's been a lot of darkness for the Jewish people, clearly for Israeli residents. Unthinkable how hostage families are doing right now, and so I think there is a little bit of that darkness. But what Isaiah does for us is in this week's Haftarah says the darkness is going to fade and the light is gonna come through, that there's gonna be a bit of this dawn that's actually gonna happen. And the first line of Isaiah of this week's Haftarah actually is the adaptation for the words of the prayer of Lecha Dodi, which, by the way, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, right? Oh, la 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 la, Lecha Dodi. Cantor Muchnick does a better job of singing than me, but and so the connection also that the poet Shlomo Halevi connected to this phrase and actually added it to Lecha Dodi to even remind us every Shabbat about the light that we can sort of bring into the darkness. And so on this Shabbat, I invite us to do a couple of things. I invite us to obviously reflect on what's happening in Israel. It's been a crazy couple of days. I'm sure by now you've read about pagers and beepers, and there was a huge missile strike on the north of Israel this morning, about 150 rockets. The north is actually sadly ablaze. Israel has fired back. I believe I just read that Israel was able to take down a missile system, a Hezbollah missile system that housed 1,000 missiles. So we're in this sort of mixture of the dark and the light. But again, the picture behind me is this dawn of this light rising. And so I hope that as we head into not just Shabbat, but also the anniversary of October 7th, we can bring more and more light into our lives, and that we all individually can find moments in our lives wherever there is that darkness to bring light into our space as we enter Shabbat. Maybe even when we light those Shabbat candles tonight, bringing light and warmth into each one of our homes. So services are not that far away. They are at 6:30 as usual. Tomorrow morning, 8:30 is our service and Torah study. And we, of course, look forward to seeing you all soon. And we continue to put as much shalom as we possibly can into our Shabbat.